Good morning, students. Welcome to Royal Palace College online classes. So, in the previous class, we have seen some bits with respect to hydrocarbons, Wolff's reaction, and alkanes different methods. Okay. Now, let's start with the next bits of this. The analysis of this alkene followed by treatment with zinc and water will give basically ozonolysis reaction is used to predict the position of double bond in unsaturated compounds, and also you can differentiate between terminal alkenes and internal alkenes. So let us see what's happening in this. This compound I would like to write like this: CH3 double bond C, CH3. Ozonolysis of alkenes produces carbonyl compounds, aldehydes or ketones. Okay. First, this alkene is treated with ozone. If you are treating with ozone, O3 interferes with the double bond and it forms ozonide. Okay, ozonide. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 dimethyl 2-butene. It will form the ozonide of this compound 2-butene. How? Ozone incorporates in the double bond and form 5-member ring, ozonide ring. Okay. This is the intermediate ozonide, 2-butene ozonide. Now this one followed by the treatment with zinc and water. Hydrolysis with zinc in presence of bond gets cleaved like this. Always ozonide bonds get cleaved like this. The 5-member ring is cleaved in this way. So what do you get here? CH3 C double bond O CH3, CH3 C double bond O CH3 plus CH3 C double bond O CH3. So 2 moles of ketone is obtained. 2 moles of acetone is obtained by the ozonolysis of 2,3 dimethyl 2-butene. So answer is acetone only. Option A. So basically ozonolysis is treatment with ozone followed by zinc hydrolysis. This ozonolysis is a test to recognize the position of double bond in alkene. Or you can also differentiate between terminal and internal alkenes by this test. What are the products obtained in this test? Based on that you can predict It may be formaldehyde, it may be acetone, or it may be acetaldehyde, or any other aldehydes or ketones. Okay? So based on that, you need to predict the answer. This is about first question. Then next question is, what is the major product in the reaction propene plus HBr in presence of benzoyl peroxide? What is the major product? Okay. Now, this is alkene and this is the reagent. Generally, what will happen? Addition reaction should take place because an alkene is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Addition reaction takes place. Now, according to Markovnikov rule, negative part of the reagent should attach to the sp2 carbon that contains less number of hydrogen atoms. Means, without the benzoyl peroxide, this reaction will be undergoing Markovnikov addition reaction. It undergoes via Markovnikov addition. Means, without this peroxide, if you ask which is the major product, negative part of the reagent attaches to the sp2 carbon that contains less number of hydrogens. So, without benzoyl peroxide, if you carry the reaction, then 2-bromopropane is main product or major product. Without benzoyl peroxide, 2-bromopropane is major product, which is according to Markovnikov addition. What is Markovnikov addition? Negative part of the addendum or the reagent should get attached to the sp2 carbon that contains less number of hydrogen atoms. Clear? Now, what happens in the presence of peroxide? Let us see. In the presence of peroxide, now what is this given reagent here is benzoyl peroxide. That is benzoyl peroxide. Means the same compound you can write like this: C6H5 C double bond. This is benzoyl group, 2 oxygen atoms linking C6H5. This is called benzoyl peroxide because peroxide bond is there. So, in presence of peroxide, addition of HBr on any alkene follows anti-Markovnikov rule, that is also called as peroxide effect or Karash effect. 3 names. Okay? Why this happens in presence of peroxide? Why this effect is happening, or what is anti-Markovnikov effect or rule? According to anti-Markovnikov rule, negative part of the reagent attaches to the sp2 carbon that contains more number of hydrogen atoms. Means, according to anti-Markovnikov rule, bromine should attach to first carbon. So, the major product must be 1-bromopropane. 1-bromopropane. But why it is 1-bromopropane? I will try to explain it by mechanism. Okay. Let us see the mechanism here. What happens and what is anti-Markovnikov rule? Why it is happening? In the step 1, I would like to treat the reagent with peroxide. Basically, benzoyl peroxide or hydrogen peroxide, it is unstable. They undergo homolytic fission. Homolytic cleavage takes place for benzoyl. Okay, there are peroxy-oxygen linkages. So you get here two molecules of C6H5 benzoyl free radicals are obtained. Okay, those benzoyl free radicals, the carboxyl free radicals are always unstable. They are eliminated as carbon dioxide in any molecule if you find. That is, here one more homolytic cleavage takes place. This electron bonds with this electron. So you get here two molecules of phenyl free radicals, C6H5 radicals with liberation of 2CO2 gas. Okay? This phenyl free radicals react with reagent HBr. That is, I take one mole right now. C6H5 radical reacting with HBr. So if a radical reacts with any normal molecule, then this electron taken by this one, it generates Br radical. That is C6H6 plus Br radical. That means in the presence of peroxide, the main attacking reagent is Br radical. Okay? Radical attacks on the alkene. Let us see now how it will attack. Now this is the alkene. You have CH3 CH double bond CH2. First carbon, second carbon, I write here, first carbon, second carbon, third carbon. If bromine radical attacks on first carbon, it takes one of the pi electron from here, okay, from here, okay, it forms bond with this CH2, this electron remains here. Let us assume now it attacks at C1 position, C1 carbon. So you get here CH3, CH radical plus bond CH2Br. Okay, this is one molecule you will get. Another possibility is Br molecule can also react with this radical and bond with C2. Okay, now it can attack on C2. So CH3 CH Br, then this electron remains CH2 radical. Now you know this is the secondary radical, secondary free radical generated. Okay, this is primary free radical generated. Which is more stable? Secondary free radical is more stable. It is more stable. That's why this is majorly formed. Afterwards, what happens? This free radical can again react with one HBr. It can again react with one HBr molecule, so that this one electron reacts with one H radical, remaining Br radical removed. That is CH3, CH2, CH2, Br plus Br radical. This can initiate one more reaction. If this molecule reacts with HBr, then this one electron can react with this one, Br radical is generated. So you get CH3, CHBr, CH3 plus Br we are right. Now which is more stable? This one is more stable. So which is major product now? More stable means more proportionately forward. Here less stable means less, means minor. So now you might have understood, in the presence of peroxide, why 1-bromo is major product, 1-bromo-propane is major product. Without peroxide, 2-bromo-propane is major product according to Markovnikov rule. If peroxide is there, then according to anti-Markovnikov rule. So what does anti-Markovnikov rule state? Negative part of the reagent attaches to the sp2 carbon that contains more number of hydrogen atoms. That's why 1-bromo-propane is major product. Okay, so answer A, 1-bromo-propane. Okay. Next question is, which of the following is a major product in dehydration of 3,3-dimethyl butane 2-ol using H2SO4? 3,3-dimethyl butane 2-ol dehydration reaction with H2SO4. What is dehydration? Removal of water. Okay? Removal of water. Now, let's write the structure first, then we can remove the water. 3,3-dimethyl butane 2-ol. Butane means first of all 3, 4, okay, 4 carbons. Second position, alcohol is there. Third position, 3, 3, dimethyl. 2 methyl groups are there. Here remaining hydrogen atoms you can fill up. Okay, this is the molecule. Now they are asking what is the major product obtained when this molecule undergoes a dehydration reaction. Okay. Now the thing is here, first what will happen here is H plus, okay, will attach to any one of these lone pairs present on oxygen. So you get here CH3, CCH3, CH3, CH, O plus H atoms. Okay. Now anywhere in the organic chemistry if you find this type of oxonium, okay, then this is eliminated as water. I am writing minus H2O. These electrons given to the oxygen, it is removed as water. So you get carbocation. That is CH3, 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 CH plus CH3. Okay. So now water is removed. Okay. So you get a carbocation. This is primary carbocation. Adjacent to that tertiary carbon is available. Anytime primary carbocation adjacent to this, and wherever possibility, it is secondary carbocation. Secondary carbocation attached to tertiary carbon. Any type of this type of arrangement, if you see anyway, basically what happens is this secondary carbocation can try to form tertiary carbocation by methyl group migration. Methyl group is migrated, okay, from here to here. Why? To get stable cation. What is that stable cation you will get now? CH3, C, CH3. This methyl group removed with electrons means here you get positive charge. CH, CH3 and CH3. I have written it upside. This CH3 I written upside for easier. Okay. After this, what happens is, okay, it is elimination reaction. Dehydration means removal of water. What should be formed? Double bond you should get. Alkene you should get. So after that removal, what is the next thing you need to remove is this hydrogen. If you remove this hydrogen, this proton, then the pi bond can form in between and you get stable compound. Highly substituted alkene. Okay, it can shift here to balance the positive charge. And this proton is again given back to sulfuric acid. Okay, that is CH3. That is why it is called acid catalyzed dehydration. Acid is catalyzing this reaction. So this is the stable alkene formula. It is the stablest alkene formula. Now what is the name of this alkene? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3 dimethyl 2-butene. Okay? 2, 3 dimethyl 2-butene. That is option is C. Option C. Okay? Next question is, ethylene react with alkaline KMnO4 to give alkaline KMnO4 is mild oxidizing agent. It is also called Bayer's reagent. To detect unsaturation, you can use Bayer's reagent. Okay? And any alkene, if it reacts with or if it undergo oxidation with alkaline KMnO4 or Bayer's reagent, it forms glycols. What are glycols? Glycols means vicinal diols. What are vicinal diols? If in any organic compound, two OH groups are present on adjacent carbons, that is called vicinal diols. Okay? Now what is the compound you taken is ethylene. Ethylene means CH2 double bond CH2. This undergo oxidation with alkaline KMnO4. Oxidation, addition of here, OH groups will take place. Glycols will form. Okay, double bond is breaked These are called glycols. So this is ethylene glycol, common name. Ethylene glycol is obtained on treating with the Bayer's reagent. Okay. So where is ethylene glycol? Here, D. Basically, this Bayer's reagent is used for detection of unsaturated compound. Okay. So alkenes when react with Bayer's reagent forms glycols. What are glycols? Glycols are vicinal diols. Vicinal diols means if two OH groups are present adjacent to each other, they are called vicinal diols. Okay. So with this we will complete the class. Tomorrow we will